what I want to talk about is money. So, one of the hurdles that people have in leveling up or in general in working with me and looking at, oh, whoa, those prices are kind of high. What's the deal with that? Why should I trust someone with this amount of money? Let me tell you what money is. It's a human made up construct. But we are so invested in this made up construct that it literally affects our energy. So when we are bringing in a lot of money, it can affect our abundance. And when we're losing money, it can affect our self-esteem and how we feel like we show up in the world. So what I like to do in my coaching is really help people understand that you can feel safe and secure and abundant without needing money or material things. But what money does is it creates this energy flow. So when you are able to feel abundant and then release that attachment to money, it usually helps that flow. And it's so weird to talk about this because it makes it seem like I'm trying to tell you that you have to spend money with me in order to level up. And that's not true. But in my experience, this year, in May of 2020, okay, so within this year, I spent money on myself for the first time in my entire life. Okay, so when I went to college, my parents made the investment in college. I believe it paid off, but my parents made the investment. And now as an adult, I've never made an investment in myself. I've never made an investment outside of time. I've never made a monetary investment in myself. Okay, maybe I spend, a little bit of money here and there for self-care, but I've never like dropped a big amount of money believing that I was going to make that money later, believing that my business was worth making a monetary investment. I've always been just too scared to do that. I've held on to money really tightly. But this year I decided, you know what? F it. I'm going to it's a pandemic. I don't know if I'm going to lose my job, which I did. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to invest in my future. I'm going to invest in a business that may or may not work. I have no idea, but I'm going to invest anyway. I dropped $18,000 on a program to get certified as a coach. It was freaking terrifying. It was so scary that I didn't even tell my husband. But I've gotten to this place with myself, and this might end up being more long-winded than you want, but I've gotten to this place with myself where when I'm about to make a really big decision, one that could have, big effects in my life, I really sit down and try to get grounded and try to look for a feeling of this is wrong. I really try to feel in my body, like, is there something telling me that this is wrong? So I really sat down and I was like, I'm about to drop 18,000 bucks. Do I feel okay about that? And what kept coming up was this feeling of expansiveness, this kind of like, if I don't do this, I'm going to stay stuck. And eventually I got the courage up to talk to my husband. And of course, he was 100% supportive. And I told myself, look, if I'm going to put this money in, I got to make this money back. And you never know what's going to happen, but I was committed. And by spending that money, I was committed at a totally different level in my business. I was like, all right, I'm already 18,000 in. I got to get going. I have to make this work. And I made that money back within 2 months. And I'm not exaggerating. It just pushed me into massive action. I had been stalling and holding back for so long. And as soon as I committed, and I needed to spend that much money. And the reason is because it stretched the shit out of me. And I'm sorry that I'm dropping all this language, but I believe so much in this because I had never done it before. And once I got invested at that level, I just put a different level of energy into it. And it kind of made me feel like I was worth it. Right? Like I told myself I am worth spending this money on. Because if I had lots of money, if I had money in my, savings account and that money didn't even make a dent, it wouldn't have felt like I was leveling up. But for me, I couldn't even pay that money cash. I had to put it on a credit card. And it just pushed me to believe that I was going to be able to do it. So when you think about making an investment in yourself, whether it's with me or if it's with someone else, I really want you to understand that money is an exchange of energy. And if a lot of fear is coming up when you think about spending money, sit with that fear. What is it there to tell you? What is the worst thing that could happen?